Joe Biggs here with Infowars.com. Now, just moments ago, I had the opportunity to speak with a very concerned mother, Jessica Bianchi. Now, she took her two children, a boy and a girl, the girl's about 8 years old, to the doctor for a normal routine visit. And some of the questions that were asked of her children were quite concerning. Now, just so a lot of you don't think that I'm pulling your leg, I want to give you a couple references of things that have happened that have been in mainstream news about transgender roles with children, things like that, the way that our current society is kind of pushing that on these young children. Now, this is an article from Washington Times. Children's Hospital opens clinic for transgender children. This is out of Dallas AP. And then also we have out of CBN News, gender identity curriculum angers parents in Virginia. So this is something that is happening in and around our country as we speak right now. And also we have a Bloomberg article. California lets grade schoolers decide gender identity. What kind of kid is able to make a decision like that at such a young age? Their minds are still being molded at this point in time. From National Review, school told to call kids purple penguins because boys and girls is not inclusive to transgender. These are dark times that we are living in now. The fact that this is the kind of stuff that is being pushed on our children. Now we're going to go to my interview with Jessica Bianchi and let her tell her side of the story. All right, thanks. Now we're going to interview Jessica Bianchi. Now, she is a mother who just recently took her kids to the doctor. Now, Jessica, tell us what happened the other day.
Well, I was taking my two kids in. I have a son, Nathan, who is 6, and a daughter, Kayla, who's just about to be 8. And this was just kind of a routine annual checkup. Called ahead to make sure there was no shots, so there wasn't going to be any surprises or anything like that. And we got there, and they started doing the routine things and asking some questions like, are your kids getting fruits and vegetables every day? And then they started asking some more kind of alarming questions, one of which was, are your children being properly socialized? Which, of course, sent a huge red flag in my mind. We had a family just one county over from us who had 5 of their kids taken away for, quote, not being properly socialized. So that wording specifically was like, wait a minute, they've never asked me this before. And then they also asked things like, what kind of extracurricular activities are your kids in? But to the point where it was like, if you didn't tell them something, it was like it wasn't the right answer. Like, they're like, well, they're in something, right? What are they in? Oh, what they're in at church, we'll let that count for you. Like they had to mark down that the child was involved in something extracurricular or it was negative. Then they asked me, do you have any guns in your house? So that was pretty alarming to me, thinking, what business do you have even knowing that,
Yeah, that's your right to protect your family if you do have a gun or not. So that's none of their business.
Exactly. And too, all these questions were just kind of, they were presented in a way that was very much put me in a position where I felt like I was being interrogated. Which is not at all what you expect when you go to the doctor. And this is a doctor that my family's been going to for close to 5 years now. So I really didn't expect any surprises. I've been sharing this story with friends just to kind of give them a heads up. And they've been like, oh, well, you need a new doctor and this and that. And I said, well, this was our doctor for this long. It's not like we tried a new, just had a bad experience. And then, they move on with the exam, and I think, okay, that's over. This is crazy. I'm going to have to look into this. And my doctor comes in. That was the nurse asking us those questions. The doctor comes in and, does the kind of normal routine, checks the kids. And my daughter, who, remember, she's almost 8 now, he asked her, are you a boy or a girl?
Wow.
Excuse me?
Yeah, I think I would be
what
exceptionally
right do you
angry.
have asking my child that? I was just, I was floored. I mean, I felt like in shock. It was weird because you think of people being in shock in like car accidents and things like that. But I just sat there like in shock, like this cannot be happening. Like, you know, and then he goes, what about your brother? Is he a boy or a girl? What about your mommy? And she's wearing a dress to the doctor's appointment. He goes, what about you? Do you wear dresses? What about your brother? Does he ever wear dresses?
Wow.
And
that's out of control.
It is so out of control, and it's all over the news. It's not like he can even pretend like this is something that he had no idea about. You know, we've got these little kids that are 4 that parents are condoning their choice to be a different gender. It's like, would you do that if they said, I want to be a unicorn? But we confronted our doctor on this. My husband did. There's actually like a web portal that you can go to and put in messages and things like that to communicate with your doctor. And he had messaged him saying, you know, my daughter told me that you had asked this question if she was a boy or a girl. I do not think that is appropriate at all. What would ever give you the idea that that was an okay question? And the doctor's response to this really, really just got me upset, because his response was, I ask silly questions to build rapport with my patients.
Yeah, like he asked that at the beginning of the doctor's meeting instead of the end.
Well, he asked it, you know, if you're building a rapport, you're going to, yeah, exactly, do that at the beginning of a doctor's office, right? You're going to build rapport up. That way they don't feel as funny when you're asking them to stick out their tongue and put things in their ears and whatnot. But he asked it at dead last, at the very, very end. And it was really bizarre because he asked it almost in a way where it was like he didn't want to ask it, but he had to get through it. And after the fact, he was really reassuring, like, your kids are good, your kids are good, your kids are good. You have healthy kids, don't worry about anything. So he, you know, his response was just, oh, it was a silly question. I also did speak with the office manager at the doctor's office, and her response to me was, we ask all the kids that. And I confronted her on that, and I said, no, you don't. We've been there for 5 years, and we've never been asked that questions before. And I said, is this something new that is a requirement in your offices? And she said, oh, I wouldn't know anything about that. I'm not a doctor, but I'm pretty sure all the doctors ask that question. So, I mean, as a parent, it's really upsetting to not only have an experience like that, but you can't even get to the bottom of why it's going on, because all you're getting is lies left and right.
So, yeah, this is probably a new part of the Obamacare. Some of these questions are rolling out, some of the typical stuff that they ask veterans as well. Do you have guns or not? And then they come in and, you know, kick them off their health care and this and that. Right. So, I mean, it's amazing the way that they're pushing this whole transgender lifestyle, especially at such a young age now. You know, they have these MTV shows, all these different things. And it's good to see that you're coming out, you're telling the story and kind of helping inform a lot of these other parents so they can look for these signs when they go to the doctor as well.
Yes, definitely. The biggest takeaway I've gotten from this, honestly, is just, you never know where this is going to come from. You never know where you're going to have someone breach your rights as a parent. And so now more than ever, we just have to really be on guard and on the lookout every possible place, even the places that for us used to be safe havens, which is really scary.
And you were also telling me, too, that there was another family who homeschooled their children and they had their kids taken as well, right?
Yeah, some friends that are homeschoolers, they actually had a friend of theirs. Pretty much, they were dropping off some food at their house, and this friend from church, nonetheless, who was dropping off food at their house, saw that the house was messy, which of course it would be messy. Mom's in the hospital. We know the moms are doing a lot of the cleaning. So mom was in the hospital, and the older kids were keeping, you know, an eye on the little ones, and dad was at work, and he was going to be home later that evening, and that woman just didn't like, you know, that wasn't her idea of what should be happening. And so instead of going to the parent, she went right to CPS, and CPS was able to get a judge to sign off on an immediate evacuation of all of those children.
It's amazing the world we live in, where
it's so sad.
People just go and do these things. I mean, left and right, we're seeing homeschoolers being attacked. We're seeing these kids being asked these crazy questions. And this is just the world that we're living in now. But the best thing that we can do is inform one another and help each other fight this stuff with information. So I just want to say Thank you, Jessica, for taking time out of your morning to come out here and talk to us and share your story.
Thank you, Joe. I really appreciate it.
All right. Have a good day.
You too.
I want to make this announcement now. It's going up as we speak, a day early.
To celebrate the birth of our country and give a big thanks to all the info warriors out there, we are now offering free shipping on every item shipped out of the InfoWarsStore.com warehouse. That's free shipping on all t-shirts, books, and DVDs. Free shipping on Molon Labe and 1776 belt buckles, which are also 25% off while supplies last. Free shipping on all of our InfoWarsLife.com nutraceuticals. If it's in the InfoWarsStore.com warehouse, it's shipping for free, all during the month of July. It's our way of saying thanks to the true heart and soul of this operation, who stand beside us and support us as we wage an info war for liberty and freedom for all. InfoWarsStore.com. Free shipping for the month of July.
A couple references of things that have happened that have been in mainstream news about transgender roles with children, things like that. The way that our current society is kind of pushing that on these young children, a boy and a girl. The girl's about 8 years old, to the doctor for a normal routine visit. And some of the questions that were asked of her children were quite concerning. Now, just so a lot of you don't think that I'm pulling your leg, I want to give you a in Virginia. So this is something that is happening in and around our country as we speak right now. And also, we have a Bloomberg article. California lets grade schoolers decide gender identity. What kind of kid is able to make a decision? Joe Biggs here with Infowars.com. Now, just moments ago, I had the opportunity to speak with a very concerned mother, Jessica Bianchi. Now, she took her 2 children. Now, this is an article from Washington Times. Children's Hospital opens clinic for transgender children. This is out of Dallas AP. And then also we have out of CBN News, gender identity curriculum angers parents